and within 45 days, if you can go out and get a petition signed, and I don't know if you have to, it's got to be a petition signed that equals 10% of the people who voted in the last presidential election in this county. 10%, that's all it takes. And I'm hoping I remember this right, because I did put it in the paper. And you can check it in statute. I mean, you can go there, you can either, I put it in the paper, I think 3 weeks ago, or you can go online and find out how to do it. And that's all right with me. It's however people want to do it. I mean, the thing about it is, I don't have kids, here attend school. Probably won't have any grandchildren attend school. But I have to do what I believe is right for the children of this community. I mean, I just can't look at my own personal thing. I'm willing to pay, a little extra a year if it. I've got the same concerns as everybody else. I mean, my wife's sick. She doesn't work now. Times are a lot harder, a lot tougher in our household. But I'm of the belief that government should work, and it should work for those. It really works. Okay, this is just my position. If we take care of the most vulnerable among us, and children, nobody here can argue, are certainly fit that. If we'll make a way to do it for them, then God will see to it that we prosper and that we do well. You know what I mean? I'm not wanting to put money in more money in teachers' pockets, although I, think they deserve money. I'm not going to do that. It ain't the time for that right now. But when you see kids who are crammed like, Don Eder's boy in a school that is too small, it's just too small. I mean, when you see that, and you look at it and you realize, our kids deserve more than what we can just make do, what we can get by with this. No, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's acceptable. And if we'll do the right thing and give them something that, it's going to take a sacrifice, I think that God will take care of us and it will be all right. I just, that's a personal.
What they're wanting is something concrete. I understand. I'm sitting here, I'm skeptical about it myself because I don't know how I'm going to vote right now because we're voting on something that might happen. I know what you're all saying, we don't have the land. Why not? Why hasn't that been settled already? Why hasn't a lot of these things been settled that should already be settled before? We should have some kind of outlet, a model of a building, something. We're asking the people, we're wanting to tax them on something that might happen. That's just not.
I think the reason we're asking, and I'm not contradicting, the reason that we're asking now is because the legislature are in session now. We got to do it because we just got to do it because April the 1st, and this may be the only opportunity we have.
Yeah.
And once that legislature are out of session, we might as well just forget it. That's the reason. I understand what you're saying. You want something in concrete, this and that, which I think Mr. Mills is good.
And if we don't, what happens to the money? So we don't get a school. Are they going to be refunded their money? What happens?
Well, I would say this.
Does it go back?
If you do not, you might as well say you will not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying if we do, yeah, it's 100%. It's not 100.
Okay, worst case scenario, you get your tax. You get your tax, no problem. Worst case scenario, the boys in Frankfurt are more concerned with the Golden Triangle than they are Martin County schools. Where are we at as far as the construction of the building, the facilities? Is that back to what you were talking about?
$18 million.
Put the nickel on the table. It matters not what the state does. We have enough bonding potential to build a high school for our kids.
At the site where it's at now.
Personally, I just about assume the state not be involved.
But you can't get the co-education.
While we're hoping to get not 18 but 33.
Yeah.
Now, assuming the best case scenario, Ray Jones and Hall and whoever else come marching in and with a wagon full of money. Where are we at on the amount of money then that this tax generates? Does that mean the school being built then becomes a 13, 20 million or whatever $1 million school versus an 18 million?
It still stays on. The nickel stays on
Yeah.
with state assistance. Because you can't, the money that we're asking for, again, the money we're asking for beyond the 18 million, it goes directly to a co-located ATC.
Okay, you should build a second building is what you're saying, is that correct?
Well, I suppose, but it's co-located with the high school. It is a separate building.
It's a campus facility.
Well,
Yeah, our ATC is a separate, how would you refer to it? It's just separate. It's just like a post-secondary education. It's just like a college campus that's built right on top of our high school.
Right in the back seat for the student paper.
I got one more question too. Okay, at nickel, does that just go on their property that we own, or does it go on a car, or electric bills, or water bills?
If you're real or personal, which would be your property in your car?
Okay, but it won't be on their utility bills or nothing like that, right? I can live with it.
And if it's designated for the school.
Well, let me ask this other question. You get your nickel, okay, then you get, say, 25 million, 7 on the bill. Where's all this money gonna go to?
Say that one more
Talk
time.
about insurance.
Just say you get the nickel from us, taxpayers, and then you get from the insurance company up here that toward the bill from that. Whatever that is, if it's 25 million or whatever, what's gonna happen then? We're gonna be taxed right on, or gonna be taken off or what?
That's what,
The discussion with the legislatures is that if we get assistance of $15 million, then
it's contingent upon us filing a lawsuit against it. They had, there's a precedent already for this. There was a school.
I don't think I can discuss it. I just, we're,
And
what I've done.
You know, you got a tax hearing, and if you go ahead and do the vote, you can put something in the paper or explain it or have a forum or something later. And of course, there's 45 days, any 5 people can go to the clerk's office, prepare an affidavit, and you can have, then you've got time to have a petition, you can have a vote. And you can have a, you know.
I'm
But
hesitant
that's
on
not
that.
what this hearing is.
Because there's litigation pending, and I'd rather not go into to answer your direct question, but I hope we have demonstrated that I've been quick to respond to 99% of your questions. They may not be satisfactory answers, but I don't think we need to go into that. I don't think I can.
Just before you vote, and I apologize for holding it up and interrupting, basically, since this is essentially beyond the tax questions, and you all addressed a lot of other issues, have we spoken with the Transportation Cabinet about how the decision was made to put this road 50 yards from the high school and not expected lower?
Yes.
And
Yes.
who made that decision and why? I mean, that would be, that's not, I don't know that would have anything to do with litigation, because the state is.
Those questions have been asked.
The state's immune.
I have asked them, but again, why those decisions made, when they were made, really, we are where we are. You know, if somebody did something we're supposed to do, that's one thing, but we are where we are, and we have some needs for our kids. And we can't get to where we need to be for our kids without demonstrating that we're serious about our school facilities.
I got one more thing to say, and this will be very short. But I think we had approximately 25 kids that represented Martin County, student council officers at the VLA, and I must say, as they went to the legislative session, they did an admirable job as far as representing and as far as helping in this particular case that we're going through. If you wouldn't believe, not just those kids, but every kid, I was just so proud of, how they conducted themselves and how they reacted and how they responded to questions they were asked. And like I said, you got some of the sharpest kids in the state of Kentucky in your community. I mean that from my heart.
Okay, let's continue.
Well, I got a question. So if this passes, there will be a school. That's what I want to know. There will be a school.
Yes. If this
We won't
passes.
pay these people money,
Wait a minute.
and there won't be a school.
When you say pass, let me define what that is. When the board makes a motion on, and if you vote for this
Yeah.
tax increase, that doesn't mean it's going to stay on the table, because that's why it's called recallable.
Well, I
Community,
understand that.
you vote for
But
it.
my
and
vote
if the-
matters to me,
if the-
is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. If the community says, you know what, we're convinced the board is doing the right thing, we see it, we understand it, we're going to get a school, yes, that $18 million goes directly to a school. You will get a school.
How long down the road?
2 generations, okay, the one we have now, the soonest that the next generation.
3 years from today, we'll have a new high school.
It would be the 16 and at the earliest would be the 16 and 17.
But say roughly, 3 years from today, we'll have a new high school.
We're hoping.
If it passes.
We're hoping.
Yes, that's
We're
the,
hoping
that's the
shorter.
soonest, and it might be shorter. But
Very
you
much
always
so.
under promise, over deliver. So, yes. I think the biggest question is that, will you get a school for this money? Yes, you will. It might be done in phases because of the bonding potential, but you will get that school into the 16, 17 school
You're
year.
gonna build up here in Cheryl and Park, that's right.
No.
I thought you said you were gonna tear it out and build a new one in.
No, I said with the architect has given us an estimated cost. If we only have the 18 million,
But if you get the whole amount,
well, if you get the whole amount, then we can do site selection. We can be a little bit more selective on where the campus will be constructed.
Expand, make it bigger than kids.
But we can't delay this. I mean, if we did it today, we started building.
you're talking about you can't delay the tax vote versus delay the construction of the school because of the potential additional site that you're talking about.
Jointly, yes, we can't delay this because the session only meets every 2 years. I mean, we're asking for money now.
We're talking about getting the money. That's what he's talking about, can't delay.
The thing that can't,
If you got that
deadline for
in-
the session is that if the board passes the nickel, the other piece of this is the legislature has to fund the equalization portion that Mr. Meadows talked about. That has to be done by the legislature, so that has to be obviously done when the legislature's in session. So then the timeline will be laid out, tight, so that in order to get basically another $4.5 million, which is the equalization portion that you discussed, that actually has to be authorized by the legislature. Traditionally, the legislature has authorized all districts that have put on a call, and there's several throughout the state, but it does have to be approved and authorized by the legislature. And Mr. Meadows is working to ensure that that's done if the recallable nickel is passed. But that's kind of the true deadline of why this needs to be done fairly quickly tonight in order for that window to expire when the legislature's in session.
The legislature's over April 15th. This window closes April 13th. So there was really no, I mean, that's not, it's tight.
It should have already been.
Well, if you get the money and you get the alternate site that may be lingering out there, you're going to surplus and sell the existing Sheldon Park facility. Will you apply those funds?
The board
to
would
this
have that
debt?
option.
Will you apply those funds to this current or upcoming debt? Or just?
I don't know how that works. I'm sorry. See, I
Well,
always say,
it's up to
if I
the
don't know
board.
something, I'll just say it. If the board surpluses and you want to, I don't know, that's.
Well, they can make-
You can
you
always
pay off
have
bonds
a
early?
cash, you can always have a cash contribution in you do what's called a BG1 form, which lists out your
Who won't buy the
project
school?
costs and
I mean,
revenues.
Do what?
The
Who
biggest
won't-
chunk of the revenue are bonds, but you can have it.
Let me jump to where I think you may be going. Let's say somebody opens a suitcase and says, you know what, I want to donate $25 million to the school district. I think that would wipe out our bonding burden if we even went forward. Does that make sense to
I
you?
mean, yeah, if you got 25 million, you could just pay cash.
Yeah, if Santa came in and said, I love this district, I'm just gonna give you $25 million. I think the board would say, okay, let's pay off our bonds, build our new school, we don't even have to have tax, we can take it off the
We can
table.
help Jim Booth in doing that?
Not asking.
Like I said, once it goes on, the thing is, once the bonds are sold, the increase in tax revenue stays on the table until those bonds are paid. Now, can it be paid early? I think Dwight has indicated that, yes, you can do that, pay it off and take that tax down.
Well, some bonds can't be paid off early.
Well, that's why I was hesitant. I don't know if there's a penalty.
Well, the bonds would be sold, and to the point we're getting a little bit off here, but bonds are sold with what's called a 10-year call obligation. That's the first point you can pay them off. The other challenge is that there is a small, and again, another tangent, but there is a small portion of this that's paid by a separate state agency called the School Facilities Construction Commission. This is all already approved, the board's accepted, these offers are out there. They're going to pay a certain amount every year on bond issue. So, if your payment is, X amount per year, this portion of it's paid by SFCC and this portion is paid by the district. You can pay off your portion, but the bonds would actually stay outstanding because SFCC, the state, is not going to pay their portion early. And unless you, out of the goodness of your heart, just decided to pay off their portion as well. But if you suddenly came into this windfall of money, you could figure out a way to at least escrow your portion of the payment, so the district can be out of the cash.
How large is school facilities portion?
It's
You just signed the $25,000.
it fluctuates, but it's around 40, maybe 48,000 something if I had to average all these together a year.
What percentage of the payment would that be?
The total payments on 18 million, if I had kind of have to do the math in my head, would be probably $1.2 million or something like that. So SFCC is not paying a very large portion of it.
Thank you. If there's any further discussion with the board, I need a motion to approve the recall of the nickel zoning tax rate 68.16.
Well, I think our kids are deserving. I think Mark Bennett kids are, I'll make the motion that we
I care about what you
recall the nickel.
I made a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I didn't vote.
Oh. I didn't hear you.
Abstain, if you're not comfortable with it, abstain.
How do you like this? You care to show up here, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can recall it. I mean, it's not
But
just.
my vote means something to me, Gary.
Oh, I know.
These are my,
Yeah, I know that.
Vote your conscience.
Look, I'm pro-education. I'm pro-facility. And like he says, I'm not going to quibble over the extra $100 or so a year for this. And I understand the entire thing. I was just not, when I came in here, I was not settled on the cost factor, what's going on with the current Sheldon Park facility.
Where it's going to be.
Additional properties, we'll find tonight that the additional properties are actually in the back door, And there's a lot of things that I didn't know. But as Gary says, I don't know what the future's going to be here next week, next month. There's no projections. You can't, because we've never had any industry here, and don't foresee any. We don't. And I don't mean this negatively, but we've never had leadership that's actually looked for any kind of industry. And if we had somebody, I don't know where we put them. We put an industry in this place, And I'm also of the opinion that if the county can allow $7 million of severance tax money to go into this facility that never made the first job, that you all could have at least passed a resolution asking them, would they make some contribution in severance tax money? This is a wonderful suite. The kids don't have it like this,
I think this can be fixed if there's a school. my understanding. We'll have an
Well,
extra
your
school
lease is only a
building.
one-year lease,
Well, we have an extra school building to put this in.
you know.
You know, I mean.
But, you know, I understand everything that was said about the bonds, the bonding capacity, the legislature. And then at the same time, we've got these kids over here. I've got grandkids that's in school and grandkids that's going to be in school. And I would like, obviously, the best for them. It's not their name.
I agree with you. I've talked to several kids, and I think they're really excited about maybe having the opportunity to be in a new high school in 2.5 to 3 years. The only regret I have is those kids that won't be able to be in that new school, you know, the next couple of years. But that's the reason I make the motion. I want kids are deserving, and I want the best for them.
The average value of the average home in this county is like $67,000. Obviously, there's many worth more than that, but the average assessment of the average house is like $67,000. The exemption that goes to people my age is $60,000. So, and I don't remember what the percent of our population is that's in this category, but there's a pretty good percentage of some of us folks that we're going to get some discount on the taxes.
It's growing. I mean, that's what that study shows from, you know, the University of Louisville as far as income projections. Yeah. Less younger kids, a lot more older folks. Yeah.
But be all that as it may, and as much as I want for my kids, there is a point somewhere in time that the straw does break the camel's back.
Yeah.
That's like I told my one of my people that we talked about. I said, would you prefer to put your money, the $25 or $30 that you're going to have to pay on a new school for your child, or buying that video game?
There's another point here we looked at too. This Obamacare is going to cost people arm and a leg, and I don't have it going for anymore.
I think it does. Well, it's just like my income to house is cut in half. Do you think I want new taxes? Ain't no way.
Yeah, that's political suicide.
I mean, that ain't.
No. I understand what you're saying. That's not the way I look at it. I don't see it
But
political
again,
suicide.
like you said, we got to do what's right, and I feel that's what's right.
We have a motion and a second on the table. We have 3 yes votes. Like to vote?
I'm here for you all. I want peace. I just want.
You can't satisfy everybody, don't worry.
Well, no,
about
I want to be here next time. I mean, that's not it. I'm not doing it because of political suicide. I could care less about that. I want to do what's right. I want to make sure that your heart's all right with it.
it. Yeah, I'm a little more satisfied over
So I come over here and I was firmly 100% against it. I'll be honest with you.
I want you to know we
On the
appreciate you being here, because I want to know how you all feel. I'm sure this
Well,
one is,
see,
but we all do, don't we?
We got a budget. We got to draw so much money, and you got time to pay all your bills and stuff and buy groceries and stuff. What do you got left? And pay your taxes? I mean, there's nothing left for us if the taxes gets too much. And you guys need to look at that before you start trying to raise taxes on me. But now, $80 or $100 more a year, I can handle it. I guess if God gives it to me, I'll pay my taxes. That's all I can do. I've worked all my life.
Well, the thing about the way I look at it, this tax is not put. This tax for kids. That's it. That's it. That's it.
I feel good about that.
And
If you feel good, I'll feel good. So.
And I think that's.
I'd feel a lot better if you all, instead of the 4 or 5 people, putting a tax on all the people in Martin County, to put it on a ballot and let us vote on it, the whole Martin County.
Well, you all can do that.
Well, what he's saying about that is that as Gary said, there's 45 days from the date that the tax is imposed, which would be tonight. There's 45 days for interested people to get a petition signed to force it to be on the ballot.
On the ballot, yeah.
And it can just as easily be voted off, called back. Okay,
you take
now,
this petition to it.
You go to the county clerk's office first, right? That's where you have to go to.
Yeah,
make sure this is done. That's the. Dick can probably tell you how to do it, right?
Well, but the thing about it is, if they don't do it, if they don't go ahead and impose this tax, it's going to impede the potential, I use the word grant, that may come out of the legislature.
Yeah.
And they may, in the event that a petition is in the process of being circulated, they may go ahead and make the grant money available, because if the tax fails publicly, then they're not going to be out any grant money anyway. So I would say vote for it tonight and let the general public, if they're interested in it enough to protest this, get a petition, put it on the ballot.
And I'm glad that you see the position that we're in, that you feel better about it now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. On this one,
Well, it's like I said earlier, these people here are quiet, and they don't
just for the record, the vote was unanimous. Approved.
And it's on time. I wanted it in writing, but Mr. York's my side of God.
It's on video.
It's on video.
All right. So, next item on the agenda is approval to enter into closed session for the purpose of discussion and possible action pursuant to KRS 61.810B for property. Need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that.
Have a motion, need a second. Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Can I be excused for a minute before we go in?
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Okay, I need a motion to exit. Motion to exit, need a second. Motion second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Back in session. What's on the agenda, discussion of possible action pursuant to board property. Quick Run Williams has the Old Board of Education office listed. There's an offer that's been made for $90,000 by R&J Development Company. Appraised value is $85,000. So we just need a motion, if the board so chooses, to go ahead and sell the property for $90,000 to R&J Development. Need a motion to approve that. Motion and a second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Vote present. Anyone opposed?
So you have to have 3 votes. So Ms. Price is absent. So if it doesn't pass, you'll have to bring it up at the next meeting, and maybe the proposed purchaser would extend the time.
But we had a money last year.
I don't know how big it
All right, so the motion does not pass. Next item on the agenda is motion to adjourn. Have a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye. Thank you.